staring down the barrel of defeat. They had some good moments, 1-0 down, but couldn't find an equaliser. And then on the counter-attack, McKennie with a volley, unchallenged in the penalty area. And the Blues were 2 behind. And when it went to 2-0, City barely threatened a goal from that moment on. I'm afraid to say that it is just not happening for City. They have a Manchester derby at the weekend. Perhaps that might just change things. We shall see. The final score in Turin, Juventus 2, City 0. Well, let's go back to the studio, and Shaun Wright-Phillips and Paul Dickov will certainly, I'm sure, have plenty of things to say with Natalie.
Welcome back to Matchday Live, where City have been beaten 2-0 by Juventus. I'm joined in the studio still by Shaun Wright-Phillips and by Paul Dickov, and you all know by now the most positive City fans in the world. And so if we can find some positives, these are the men that will. But first of all, Paul, what's gone wrong in that second half particularly?
Just disappointing again, you know, in control of the game. They have a quick break, cross into the box. One thing I will say is you've got to stop crosses. You know, we spoke about it before the game with Vlahovic being in the middle. He thrives on crosses. Second phase, Ederson makes a great save. We don't react well to it. Ball goes out, back in the box, and Vlahovic heads it. Ederson was unlucky. And then the second goal, getting hit in the break after we've got lots of possession, looks as if getting chances. And you know, it's fine lines. It's fine lines. The actual performance wasn't that bad. We started creating things towards the end, but it's just not going right at the minute.
Fine lines in terms of the fact that the first goal was over the line by an inch or so. Ederson so close to keeping it out, obviously after the initial move.
Yeah, it was, and the initial reaction save for me was a great save again. And it just drops, and just sometimes in football, things just ain't going your way. And in that game, in certain spells of it, that's kind of what I thought. I think if you go back to the last 4 years, little things like that for me, that second goal, the first goal doesn't actually go in. The second goal, in many ways, it was well constructed from them. We tried to play an offside line, and I think the ball over the top was timed perfectly, and Rico does brilliantly to get back and, like Paul said, stop the initial cross. But normally when you stop a cross, the ball doesn't roll straight back to the opponent's foot, and that's basically what it does. And where it puts in a ball, and we're caught off guard, where we're tracking back in transition, out of positions, and they're in there on his own, and a great volley, which Ederson, for me, couldn't do nothing about. And it's been hard to watch. I've been there in those positions, especially in a City shirt, where things ain't going our way, and sometimes no matter how well we've played, we're still coming off the back and we're losing, and they've got to dust themselves off now, and that's the great thing about football. They've got to prepare for a massive game on the weekend and move forward and try and turn this around. And I believe they're hurting as much as we are and all the fans are.
Let's have a look at some of the stats. So City, as in the first half, dominated possession across the game, 67% possession. Just the 2 shots on target for City, despite the 12 total attempts, just the 2 on target for City tonight. Again, when you look at the passes completed, twice as many nearly, roughly, as Juventus. Lots of distance covered there as well. Just the 2 shots on target's a little bit worrying for me, Paul.
That's the thing that stands out. I was just going to say, Natalie, you know, you have 12 attempts, the quality we've got in the team, but for only make their goalkeeper make 2 saves is slightly worrying. But, you know, we're always going to have more possession than 99.9% of the teams we play against. We've just got to start getting a creative edge back to us as well. You know, we've got the players that are in there. As Shawnee said, you've just got to dust yourself down, because it's not quite happening at the minute. You know, there's no use us standing here and papering over the cracks. You know, we're in a bad place at the minute, but as Shaun said, what a great game on Sunday for, you know, a Manchester derby at home in front of our fans against our rivals. So they'll be hurting tonight, but they've got a few days to recover, and then let's go after United on Sunday.
Right, we'll talk about the derby in just a minute because I'm going to need yours two's massive help to survive my life between now and Sunday of that derby. Before we do talk about the derby, let's have a look at the Champions League table. So, as we know, the top 8 will qualify automatically into the knockout stages. You see you've got Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Bayer Leverkusen, Aston Villa. So the 3 other English teams all sitting happy and pretty in that top 8, which is just a right kick in my teeth right now. Let's look at the next section. So from 9 to 24, go through, as we know, into that playoff round. So that's 2 additional games. But right now, I would snap your hand off for that. City sitting 22nd. So 6 played, 8 points for City. You can say Real Madrid are down there as well. 6 games, 9 points for them. Atletico in there, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich. There's lots of big teams, obviously Juventus as well. Lots of big teams sitting in that playoff section. And then you've got the bottom. So 25 down to 36 are the teams that will go out in the league stage. So you can see there, PSG currently would be eliminated. We play PSG in Paris as our next game. Who would have predicted at the start of this Champions League that PSG versus City could be an elimination game? And this is why you like the big old table.
Nah, but I'm seeing it completely different. We're still in the competition. We can still go on and win the competition. From between now till when the next game we play is, we're going to have more players fit, more players with 90 minutes under their belt, going into that game with, in many ways, a stronger squad. PSG doesn't have that. So for me, I take our chances over PSG and Club Brugge. And if we win both of those games, you're saying there's some teams in there with 13 points. We can still finish above some of those teams there. They can go and lose 2 games. We can go and win 2 games, and it changes again.
I think, looking at that in the playoffs as well, on 8 points, the team that's top of that bottom section is on 4 points. And we've got 2 games left. PSG away, Bruges at home. So really, if you're looking at that, mathematics was not my strongest point at school. But you win one of the games, you're in that playoffs already.
Thank you.
OK, I appreciate you.
We're doing our best to make it as positive as we can.
You two are doing the most phenomenal job of making this situation positive. You've taken me from grief to, OK.
A little bit better.
A little, tiny little bit
We ain't done that good of a job then, have we?
OK, well, how are you going to take me from this pit stomach achingness to somewhere
We're just going to go and win on Sunday, aren't we?
Oh, OK, right, because City's next game, of course, is Sunday. 4:30 kick-off in the Premier League, and it's just that little old Manchester derby. OK, gents, I took a deep breath there. How am I supposed to sleep between now and Sunday? Hit me, Paul.
Because we're going to win. Simple as that. United, they've got a tough away game, long journey tomorrow night as well. So they've got 24 hours less to recover, longer travel back. And they're not in great form either. You know, they've just lost their last 2 games, bad defeat at the weekend. Their manager's still trying to find, he's got his system, but he's still trying to find the players to fit into it. And the players look as if they're struggling a little bit to do that as well. So they're at a crossroads at the minute in how they want to play and how are they going to come to the Etihad. Because Amirin, the manager, he likes to play attacking football. And the players he's got can't really fit into his system at the minute. So I reckon they're going to be quite open.
Of course, Amirin, Sporting Lisbon's manager, when they beat us a couple of games ago in the Champions League, he's got a taste for beating us, Shaun.
Yeah, but it's different. I think in that game we could have been 4-0 up inside the first 25 minutes. In the game, it would have been a completely different story. It didn't happen, and they capitalised on some mistakes. I don't think we're making as many since that game. And I think with this Man United team, they're not used to playing that way, so they're taking more chances. I've been watching them since he's been the manager, and there's a lot of mistakes that they've made in giving the ball away in that final third, but just haven't been punished as much from. Whereas I think if you give Kevin one of those mistakes, I feel like it will end up with a clear-cut chance.
Sometimes when a new manager comes in and wants you to play different, it's really hard to adjust.
Yeah, it takes time.
And it doesn't happen over 2, 3, 4, 5 games. It can take a season sometimes. You know, and they're at that bit at the minute. I think United players want to do what he's asked them to do to try and impress them, but they've not got the personnel to do it.
And he's playing, he looks like he's going through all of the players at the minute while he's working out who can play where and who he likes as well.
On the flip side, he's got to find his best team as well. You know, and that's going to take a while for that to happen.
In terms of City, obviously, we're at home. We're at the Etihad, which is still a fortress, OK? Some recent results, we know that. But history tells us that the Etihad Stadium is a fortress, particularly for a derby. Regardless of what's happened in the last 10 games, the fans are going to be really, really up for it. And we know the players are going to be up for it. In particular, those players that love the derby. Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Cheeky Bernardo Silva.
That's what we need, goals. I think today was one of the games I've seen where we haven't created 10+ chances, which for us is a rarity over the last 4 or 5 years. But I think within the Premier League that we're never short of chances and attempts on goal. So I think in many ways this game could be made for us. I know he plays a wing-back system and it's just one of those. Is he going to play Ahmad or is he going to go defensive on that side? And I think in many ways this could play into our hands, this game.
Why?
Because I think off the back of this, the players will be hurting as well. And this is their chance to up their level. Like I said, I've been in these positions before. And when you lose in the midweek, you can't wait for this game to come. You can't wait to correct what hasn't happened in a game before. And what a better place to do it than in the derby.
Look, Phil back in the squad tonight. Kovacic back in the squad tonight. More minutes for Kevin, more minutes for Jack, more minutes for Ruben. Savinho come on, more minutes. Doku, more minutes in his belt. So even for that tonight, it's disappointing it will be physically and mentally. They'll feel better because they're getting the minutes under their belt going into Sunday.
Yeah, and if you were going to pick one game in which it could possibly flip the switch, I was talking before about, I've felt for a while like we're so close to just tipping over, that we're so close to going on a roll, for everything to click, for everything to work, the confidence levels to soar. I mean, the Manchester derby at home in front of our crowd, I mean, that is definitely a game where, should it all go right, it's a spark.
It is, and I think the spark on Sunday, if he's fully fit, could be Phil. His record in the derbies, as you said before, over the last couple of seasons has been phenomenal. And he's I know he's been ill, but he's had a little bit of a rest now as well. So coming into a game like that on Sunday, the local lad, Phil Foden, could be a big day for him.
Paul, I've got some bad news for you. Somebody in the graphics team messed up the table. So, just to let you know that PSG are actually on 7 points, not 4.
Well, that's absolutely not my fault. Whoever that was in the graphic team needs to take a good look at themselves.
So we really appreciated your optimism there. They are on 7 and Stuttgart are on 7. We are currently on 8.
But that still doesn't change the fact that we can beat them.
You just can't get staff these days, can you?
No, but thank you. Thank you for your optimism. So just before we go, because obviously I'd like to sleep, and there's many, many thousands of City fans that are currently watching that are going to need some sleep before Sunday, just give us something optimistic again.
Bring the nice Sunday and we'll get the result we want.
Ditto.
Thank you. If you're going to be in Manchester on Sunday, either for the game or watching with your friends in a pub in town, Matchday Live is going to be in the Waldorf pub in the centre of Manchester. It's going to be converted to the day to the Citizens' Arms. So FG and Michael Brown will be in the... How does FG get the best jobs? He's going in a pub before the derby with a load of City fans. If you'd like to be there with FG and with Michael Brown, get yourselves down to the Waldorf, the Citizens' Arms on Sunday before the game. They'll be there about 2 hours before kick-off. So that is Sunday. Do try and get some sleep between now and then. Shaun, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
For being here. You are off to Chicago in the morning.
That's correct, I am.
Trophy touring?
Yes, I am.
Last one of the year?
Coldest one of the year.
Coldest. We will think of you. I'm sure you will be wrapped up nice and warm. I don't even know how many countries that is between the two of you this year. So many. Paul, you will be in Manchester?
I will. I'll be at the game.
Lovely.
Cheering on the boys.
Lovely. Shaun Wright-Phillips, thank you very much. Paul Dickov, thank you very much. And especially thank you for your attempts at optimism and positivity right now. It is very much needed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Alistair Mann and to Kit Simons for the excellent commentary this evening. And thank you all for watching Matchday Live again. It has not gone our way tonight, but we are not out. As Shaun says, we qualify, we kick through the playoffs so we can still go on and win the whole thing. And you know this team, they will continue to fight to the end. And they will, of course, fight on Sunday for the Manchester Derby. Matchday Live will be back then on Sunday. Have a good week, Blues. Do try and get some sleep. Keep the faith.
So the first ever time I trained the first team was when I was on under 16.
Have you got a celebration lined up for when you score your first goal in a senior game?
If we're winning, knee slide, kiss the badge.
Gorman keeps going, might get the strike away, does! Oh, what a hit! McCabe has been a trickery, looking for the cutback, and Heskey coming onto it.
Gundogan puts into the box, and the header is in! Brilliant! Josko Gvardiol! There's a bit of a gap for Rord. Can she finish? Yes, she can! Brilliant finish by Jill Rord.
The Premier League season reaches its grand finale today. Right to Manes, who has time. He dummies the defender and fires the shot into the net.